Hi everyone, my name is Joseph Gervais. This is going to be a brief intro video into my new YouTube channel where I'm going to be discussing my fitness goals and journey, and hopefully be doing a video series on my road/journey to the amateur Mr. Olympia this year in December in Vegas that my wife and I will be doing. She is my videographer. So a lot of the videos are going to be about my workouts, why I train the way I train, exercise descriptions, exercise tutorials type stuff, and just my whole workouts in general. Maybe do some brief videos about my dieting, how I diet, and why I diet the way I diet. So currently my occupation is construction. I do a lot of underground utility installation, so it's a pretty manual labor job, and that has kind of forced me to evolve my training style to accommodate my body needs in terms of like stress on my body, mental stress, and total workload. So that being said, my current training style is a mixture of kind of Dorian Yates / Tom Platz style training, and I split it into 2 weeks. So I do like a heavy power week, which is directly more derived from Dorian Yates style training, where he does a few warm-up sets per exercise, and then he does a set or two of all-out failure. And then my second week is more of a volume week. So I kind of derive that a little bit more from Tom Platz, where he does like the high rep, those leg training videos that he used to see. So that week is more of a recovery week to kind of give my CNS a break. Because I found when I was doing the Dorian Yates style, just week after week, I would always want to go heavy as I could to failure. But I found with my workload and then the workload at the gym on top of my actual job, it just became a lot of physical stress for me to deal with, which kind of wears your mind and body down. So it just became too much. So more recently, like in the last 2 months, I added the volume/recovery week. This first video though is going to be a chest workout video from my heavy power week. So right here, what I'm doing is a little bit of chest activation technique, because I found that I have a hard time activating my chest during chest exercises. This is a technique I picked up from John Meadows on one of his YouTube videos. And I find it really gets my chest to activate better during my chest workout. Except the only problem here was I forgot my exercise band. So the band at the gym was a little bit stiffer than I would like. So it's kind of hard to actually isolate the pecs. Normally I use a lighter band, and I found that works better for me. But this workout, like I said earlier, is a workout from a heavy power week. So here I'm warming up for some single arm cable flies. After a long day of work, I try to just make sure I can get the muscle group firing, make sure it's feeling good. If I need more warm-ups, I always do more warm-ups to make sure I'm feeling healthy. Because especially on a heavy power week, it doesn't really pay to just jump into a heavy set and not feel it where I don't want to feel it, like in the front delt or something. I definitely try to make sure I take my time to warm up properly. Here, I'm doing my first working set. So like my rule of thumb on a heavy week is if I get 8 reps or under, I will probably drop the weight for my second set to failure. But if I get 8 reps or more, I will probably keep the weight for my second set to failure, and usually not take much of a pause, and I just kind of jump into that second set. So here, starting my second chest exercise, doing a plate loaded chest press machine. Again, I just start warming up, make sure everything's feeling good. Because even though like I might be warm from a previous exercise and I'm still doing chest, I always got to make sure everything's feeling good for that specific movement before I go to a set of failure. So, I mean, especially after long days of work doing physical labor, I like to make sure I'm good and warmed up before I go to failure with a heavier weight. So, did a couple warm-up sets, and then I'll go to my failure set. This is my first failure set. On this one, I got more than 8, but I still dropped it just because it was pretty exhausting, and I want to try to be careful, depending on how I'm feeling after a day of work. If I feel like it makes more sense to drop, even though I get more than 8 reps, I'll just drop it just because safety pays in the long run, and longevity is one of my goals for health and just also enjoyment in life. On to my third exercise, incline dumbbell flies. Again, start with a nice warm-up, make sure everything's feeling good, especially like for me, I have a lot of shoulder twinges, after work sometimes if I've been shoveling a lot or pulling a lot of cable or something like that. I got to make sure everything's feeling good and healthy. So take a couple warm-up sets, and then I go to my heavy set of failure here, and like this was feeling good. So I probably could have done another set with this weight, even based on the reps I got, but just with the job that I do, I still felt just more comfortable dropping the weight after this first set. And like I said, longevity is key for me. So I just dropped it. I dropped to 80s here, as you can see, and I only got like 3 or 4 reps, so it wasn't much. But the nice thing with this style of training is reps aren't really the key for me. So on a unilateral movement like this, where I'm doing both sides together, a lot of times I don't even bother counting reps while I'm doing it. I just go till I fail with that specific muscle group. This is my final chest exercise of the day, incline barbell bench press. So again, like a movement like this, whether it's first exercise or last exercise, I take a lot of warm-ups, because if I'm doing like 3 to 4 plates, I just want to make sure I'm good and warmed up. And again, those shoulders in such a compound movement are pretty vulnerable. So here I worked up to a set of 365. I think I got like 6 reps here. Asked a guy at the gym to spot me, because it's kind of hard to go to failure on an exercise like this without a spot. So it's always appreciated when I get a nice spot from someone. Here, I dropped down to 2 plates. I didn't go to complete failure because I didn't want to bother someone for a spot. So I just kind of went to mostly failure for the pecs, where it felt good and didn't really want to overexert myself too much. But I felt like my pecs worked out pretty good that day, so I was pretty happy with that. And then went on to biceps, because I do chest and biceps. So starting warming up for some incline dumbbell curls, getting the feel for the movement. Also, we were kind of getting filming figured out with trying this out for the first time. So again, I'm just warming up here, and we were trying different camera angles, honestly. So up to my first set of failure. I haven't done these in a while, probably a month or 2. So not as clean as I would normally like. Normally I like to be a little cleaner with this movement, in terms of like stationary elbows, have the elbows pushed forward a little bit to stress the biceps more, but at the same time, kind of nice overload as well. Second set, I dropped down because I didn't get that 8 reps or more, so I dropped down to 50s. Get a nice failure going, and you'll see me do a couple reps with the left arm because that's a little bit lagging, so sometimes I'll throw in a few more reps there to try to pick up that lagging side. Second bicep movement is behind the neck cable curl. I really like this movement. When I'm doing this, I try to keep my elbow up, so like I push my elbow up as I curl in to stress the bicep, and I try to curl as if I'm curling behind my ear to get more contraction into the bicep. I find that feels really good, and I get good results with it. A lot of these movements I kind of go by feel and how it feels in the muscle. And because if you think about it, if you're curling to the front of your body versus the back of your body, you can get a tighter, like firmer contraction curling behind the neck versus in front of it. So that's the reason I do that. For my last exercise of the day, last bicep exercise of the day as well, I'm doing one arm cable curls. I like these ones for facing away from the machine, and I try to keep my elbow pinned. Like I kind of think of it like if I'm pinning my elbow into the side of my body, like screwing it there, and I curl from that point and pivot from the elbow. And the reason being is to keep a lot of stress on the bicep and get a greater contraction, like I was mentioned before with the behind the neck curl. I like this movement a lot. Feels really good. I feel like I can go heavy without a lot of stress in the joints, which I like. But I also feel like it gives me a lot of benefit in terms of muscle growth. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.